Crystal Palace 1, Man United 2. They said we couldn't beat Liverpool. They said we couldn't beat Sunderland. They said we couldn't beat Brighton. And they even said that we couldn't beat Crystal Palace. But we've beaten all four of those sides, even Chelsea if you want to include them. And these are sides that we would be expected to struggle against. Sides that most teams in the Premier League struggle against. But we have somehow gone and won all of these. Crystal Palace has been a bogey team for a lot of teams this season. And this includes teams like Chelsea, Liverpool, teams who have been struggling, and then even teams on the upper side of the table like Bournemouth. They have been struggling against Crystal Palace. You go to Selhurst Park, you know one thing, you're going to be in for a game. You play against a Glasner team, you know the midfield battle is going to be insane. But we handled the trouble today. Did we play outstanding? Did we play glamorous? No. Did we play like we did in that 3-game win? No, we didn't. However, I will say this much. We could have played a lot better on the ball. Amorim's tactics were probably getting exposed in the first half. One thing we did do well was we played the long game perfectly. Crystal Palace, having played on Friday, we knew that they would be tired later on in the second half, and we used that to our advantage. In the second half, we were by far the better team. In the first half, however, it was probably Palace who edged it, and so the penalty was probably deserved. But guys, all in all, I'm sure you agree, we deserve the win. And we got a win, not in just any stadium. We got it at Selhurst Park, a stadium we haven't won at since 2020. Since COVID has been about, we have not won at Crystal Palace. Now, this might seem surprising. There's been a lot of draws, but there have been a lot of losses as well. Notably, a 4-0 loss when Michael Olise played against us. But if we're being completely honest, Zirkzee got his goal, Mount got his goal, but in the first half, that front three looked lost. And the best out of the bunch was Mason Mount for sure. And in the midfield, I was so surprised to see how Bruno Fernandes was the most entertaining player in that first half. Guys, we have to raise this issue. Nobody was creating anything in the first half or trying to do anything apart from Bruno Fernandes, and that is something that is really concerning. Because normally Bruno's the one who tries to be the main man, but then it just doesn't work because, Ahmad and Mbomo and the rest of the players are just technically superior to them. Today, Bruno looked like the best player on the pitch. That was until Mason Mount took over. In the second half, in the offense, it was Mason Mount. De Ligt quietly was not having his best game today. And Euro, having been subbed off, probably was just because the Everton game, he wasn't good. He was not good today either. The guy needs a rest. And we can understand that he's only 19, he's only turning 20 right now. The guy has shown good performances before. Give him a break, maybe he comes back, and it's not like we don't have centre-backs. That's one place where we do have a lot of depth. We have Mazraoui, we have Maguire, Aiden Heaven, now Lisandro Martinez, which is another point I'll add. Lisandro is finally back. Now, would we start him in the future? That's an issue for a future date because let me raise the question, is Luke Shaw being inhibited playing at left centre-back? Would we be better off playing him at left wing-back when we have Dalot or Dorgu at left wing-back? And let's be honest, neither Dalot nor Dorgu are working out there. But Luke Shaw, on the other hand, he can put a cross. We know that he can put a cross in a good cross from the days of 2021 under Ole. So why not use one of his best assets in the offensive portion of the game where we are pretty much weak? Where we need crosses into when Sesko's there, when Mbomo is poaching at the far post. We need somebody to put in crosses, especially good crosses, and we have Luke Shaw as an asset there. The way to use that though is if we play Lisandro Martinez at left centre-back. But again, I have to raise the issue. The defense, guys. The defense isn't working. For whatever reason it is, this defensive setup is not working. And we were reverting back to a 5-4-1, 4-5-1, whatever you want to call it. We were doing that in the first 3-4 games of our winning run. But then it just fell apart. And we nearly got exposed today. Had Crystal Palace been any better, we probably would have lost this game. But you know what? The game is played in 90 minutes. Both teams have the same chances, advantages, whatever you want to call it. Some teams love to point out that we pull them to our level, that they're not allowed to play football. But isn't that part of the game? Because if Arsenal do the set piece thing, we're going to pull you down to our level. Now, if you can play at our level, then you might win. But more often than not, teams struggle to play at our level. We bring you down, we make it a dogfight, and you cannot win in a dogfight against us. Which is surprising considering Crystal Palace is one of the most physical teams in the Premier League. But they could not cope in that second half. Yes, they played in the Conference League. However, you would expect Crystal Palace to be a much superior team to us. and Glasner being, one of the ultimate coaches as well. In the first half performance, you would say Crystal Palace deserved it. In the second half, United deserved it. After the second goal, Crystal Palace didn't have a single threat at our box. And even the chances that Crystal Palace did create throughout the game, it was more fake chances because there wasn't a single moment in the game, apart from the penalties, where we genuinely thought Crystal Palace might score any moment. Because they just weren't creating. It was all on us. The onus was on us to create chances, and we did not do the best of our ability because we could have created more chances, to be fair. But we played our game perfectly. We played the game exactly like we wanted. Crystal Palace fell into a trap. And in the second half, we just cooked them. We just tore them apart. And the goals, two individually brilliant goals. Bruno creates both of them. But Zirkzee finished the first one. Guys, that finish from Zirkzee needs to be respected. He did not have a good game in the first half, Zirkzee. But the guy always shows up and he knows what he's good at. Which is why I'm always have been advocating, even for the past 1 year, that Zirkzee is a good player. The reason being that the guy knows he's good at facilitating play. He's not going to try anything else. However, one thing we do miss when we play Zirkzee and not Sesko is that runs in behind. Is the physical ability mixed with pace. Because Zirkzee does not have pace, let's be honest. And those direct runs that Sesko makes, we miss those, especially winning the first balls in the air, which we try too much. Because we've seen Casemiro trying a long ball, De Ligt trying a through ball. But when we don't have Cunha and Sesko, the thing is, who's going to latch onto those balls? Because Mbeumo was off it today because he needs support from the other side. And now while Mount is good at his pressing, he's not really someone you rely on with the ball in behind. He's more a player you play ball into feet. Now with Zirkzee, you play off him. It's a completely different style. It's not a unified style which we can really go ahead with. Zirkzee scored an amazing goal. Mount scored a very good goal. Improvised from a free kick. We have to respect those moments. However, we should understand that this front three, this setup does not work. And the sooner Cunha comes back, the better we will be on the left side. And the sooner Sesko comes back, the better we will be as a team completely. Because the balance is just off when the three aren't playing up front. Cunha, Sesko and Mbeumo. Now, isn't this concerning? Because what you're telling me is that if Ruben Amorim does not have all his starting 11 players, he cannot play. What are we going to do in AFCON when Mbeumo goes, when Ahmad goes, when Mazraoui goes? How are we going to adapt? How can you tell me that we're going to adapt without our main players? Because from what I'm seeing right now, if we're missing Sesko and Cunha, suddenly the attack cannot function anymore. Suddenly we're relying on brilliant moments, set piece moments, and that's how we're creating our chances. So what do you guys make of this game? We won. Don't get me wrong, we have won a very difficult game at a very difficult ground. We don't win in London, and we have just done that. Crystal Palace won, Man United 2. Pretty good result. But was the performance really all that? Comment down below and I'll see you on the next one.